Body Lois. Yeah, Orta. Usually we're down here in the freezing rain or the cold or anything today. God bless us with a beautiful day. And remember, just want to remind you about committee. I'm Bob Harootunian, my cousin Harry, Colonel Harootunian, retired, and Raymond. If you have any questions, suggestions at all, you want to bring forth to the committee, forget about it because we will just ignore you. No, just kidding. Bring them forward. We'll be glad to hear. Anybody wants to join the committee, we always offer. If you want to join the committee, we're always looking for the fresh faces and fresh ideas. We're going to try and keep the ceremony brief, but very interesting. At this point, we're going to have the colors posted. When they come by, the veterans will salute. Other people put their hands over the heart. The American flag goes by. Colors, post. At this point in the ceremony, we're going to have the national anthem sung by Miss Helen Dayan.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Helen. At this point, we're going to call on Chief Judge of the Family Court, Honorable Judge Hyganush Bedrosian, for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just want to mention, of course, this being Veterans Day, we have a lot of veterans. All the veterans in the audience, so please raise your hands. Veterans, we salute you. Thank you for your service. Last Saturday, 2 weeks ago, at the State House, there's a very poignant ceremony. They had the Korean War Veterans plaque finally installed. They've been fighting since 1985 to have some recognition, and 2 weeks ago, Saturday, they finally passed the resolution and they had a plaque installed. It's at the State House. And there are quite a few Korean veterans there, Korean era veterans. Along with myself, there was also Anthony Avakian, Anthony Everett Serabian, Everett.
Back there.
He went back to Korea, secretary, all right. But we were up there, we all had our picture taken. We were joined by Vietnam veteran comrade, Mr. Where is he? Manu. Manu, where are you? There he is. Manu joined us also. It was a very nice ceremony. And this year we're honoring Harry Kazarian, a name known to everyone. Those of you who don't remember, he was the most decorated soldier from Rhode Island, actually a Marine from Rhode Island. And there was a picture, I always remember I was a kid, about 13 or 14, I remember there was a picture on the cover of Time magazine, or New York magazine. It said a tired U.S. Marine on Iwo Jima, and it was Harry Kazarian. I said, oh my God, that's Harry Kazarian. With the Purple Heart, the Silver Star, etc. A very, very highly decorated individual. Later went on to become the Postmaster General of the first automated post office here in the United States. What an honor that was. To introduce him and to tell you about him, Harry from the 6th Marine Division. He was born on July 13, 1925 in Providence, Rhode Island, where else? He's one child of Toros and Hispin Kizirian. He passed away on September 13, 2002. His wife Hazel is here today, and his 5 children, Joanne, Thomas, Janice, Shake, and Richard. He had the Navy Cross, the Bronze Star Medal, the Purple Heart with the Gold Star in lieu of the second medal, the China Service Medal, Asiatic-Pacific Medal, World War II Victory Medal, Presidential Unit Citation, Navy Unit Citation, the Rhode Island Cross of Gallantry. At this time, I want to introduce his daughter, who's going to tell you a little bit about Harry, Shake Kazarian. Shake?
Good morning, everyone. Clergy, thank you so much for being here. My name is Shake Kazarian, and I'm one of the 5 children of Harry and Hazel Kazarian. And it is our pleasure to be here today to be with you, to honor all veterans, and especially to honor Corporal Harry Kazarian and Private First Class Arthur Serabian. Now, Arthur Serabian might not be a name that you're familiar with, but that is my mother's brother, and I wish to talk about him today as well as my dad. Both young, handsome Armenian men whose background is from Govdun, both wanting to give back to the country that gave sanctuary to their families and wanted to show their gratitude. Both enlisted after high school, and both had a lot of zeal for life, charisma, excellent students, excellent in sports. However, the war experience was different for both of them. So thank you so much for your attention, and I would like to tell you a wonderful story of many divine interventions of a young man from Massena, New York, a young man from Providence, Rhode Island, and how their paths crossed. And the common denominator of both these incredible men is this incredible woman sitting here, Hazel Serabian Kazarian. And when my dad died 12 years ago and I spoke his eulogy, I said, when I think of Harry Kazarian, 2 words always come to mind, and that is loyalty and Hazel. My father was loyal to the core, to God, to his family, his friends, and his work. And there wouldn't be a Harry if there wasn't a Hazel. Always standing beside him, in front of him, around him, hugging him, embracing him. An incredible woman, very devoted to her husband, to her children. But prior to us, she was very, very devoted to her siblings and very, very devoted to her parents. And because of that, there were some decisions she made that led to the meeting of her and my dad. So to start off with Private First Class Arthur Serabian, aka Arteen Serabian. He was born September 12, 1924 in Massena, New York. He was the middle child of 5 children. He completed his high school at Massena High School. He was very popular. He was the president of his senior class and vice president of his junior class. He excelled in his academics. He excelled in sports, basketball, football, and track. After high school was completed, he was also a member of the AYF, and after high school was completed, he joined the Army. And in the Army, he was assigned to the Medical Corps. He had his training in Illinois, and then he received the opportunity to come to Providence, Rhode Island, and at PC for the ROTC program, and also at Brown University, where there was a special program there for Army reserves for a special training for engineering. And so when he was in Providence, he was totally embraced by the Armenian community, especially the Golden Sea community. They loved him, he loved them, and in fact, my mother likes to talk about the time he went home on leave, and there he was in the parlor with my grandparents present, family and friends watching him do the takbad, and talking some Armenian, talking about some foods, just embraced by this community. He did double dating with George Marachin. Sarah McCallion can remember my uncle walking down Douglas Avenue with all the other troops before he left to go overseas. And Star Nigerian still remembers him with great fondness, not only when he was here as a young man, but also receiving the tragic news when he had been killed overseas. So my uncle, again, was just embraced by this community, loved it, and very interestingly, my mother would write to my uncle all the time when he was overseas, and my uncle would write home often, and he wrote of this party he had attended, of this rugged Armenian, this Marine, who was going overseas, and his friends gave him a going away party, and the joke gift was a doll, and wrote about it, and come to find out that was my dad's going away party. So here these two gentlemen were at the same party. Unbeknownst to them, they would be related through marriage. So my uncle was shipped overseas in October of 1944, and he made the ultimate sacrifice on December 11th, 1944. My mother remembers vividly the day she was home when they received the news via Western telegram, and hearing my grandparents screaming, running down the stairs, seeing my grandmother in her blue and white polka dot dress, navy blue sweater, trying to console my grandfather as he's sitting there literally tearing out his hair. She's saying to him in Armenian, "Shh, they're lying, it's not true, it's not true." Because like many of us here, our ancestors lost their original families in Armenia. Both sets of my grandparents lost their original families in Armenia, come to this new country, and like I said, my mother is from a family of 5, and already they had lost my youngest uncle when he was young due to complications from surgery. So here now they've lost another son. They made the decision to have my uncle buried overseas. It was too hard to have him brought home. It's real. If he's over there, then maybe he's in a crowd somewhere. So my uncle was laid to rest at Lorraine Memorial Cemetery outside of Paris. I had the honor of meeting my uncle this year. I went specifically to meet him and to go to that cemetery to see all those incredible white marble crosses lined up so perfectly, like picket fences. To actually see his name, I've seen pictures, but to see it in person and just to be able to hug that cross, it was like hugging him. And I have a video, and I don't sing, even though I do love to sing, and Deadhide says it's okay that I sing because God likes my voice. We do have a merciful God. I sang the Hyde Med and Dvornia to him. They gave me dirt from Omaha Beach to rub on his stone, so when I took his picture, his name would stand out. They gave me a flag, which I brought back to my mom, because that dirt over his grave is the closest that she's been to her brother in 70 years. There's a post in Massena, New York, that's named after my uncle. It's the Kizirian, Serabian, Almasian, Armenian-American post in Massena. My mom and my aunts did a phenomenal job over the years. We never met either one of my uncles, Armin and Arthur, but they did a phenomenal job always talking about them, so they were very much alive for us. And their names are remembered with my brothers as middle names and as names with cousins, one of my aunt's sons. So that's my uncle, a very bright, intelligent, energetic, handsome man. His photo is over there with my dad. Very popular, very bright, athletic, and again wanted to give, and he did, ultimately with his life. In Providence, Rhode Island, on July 13th, 1925, the only child to Toros and Harootunian Kazarian. He was a hard worker, He lost his dad at the age of 15. My father was killed by a hit and run. So my father went to work very early. Even prior to my grandfather dying, my uncle would go and pick up coal from the train tracks. He would go with Joe Lalagian to help rearrange fruit in this produce store and get $1 a week. And so when when my grandfather was killed, it was just my dad and my grandmother. My dad was a student at Mount Pleasant High School. He also excelled in academics, also excelled in sports. He was the captain of the football team, and he was incredible with the shot put. Again, very popular, very charismatic. And one of his coaches from Mount Pleasant had suggested to him that he get a job at the post office. They had temporary positions for wartime, which he did to help bring money in for him and my grandmother. And when he graduated, in fact, he graduated a semester early, the very next day he went and joined the Marine Corps. People asked him why the Marines. He said he was too chicken. He didn't want to go into the Air Force. He didn't want to be up in the air. And he didn't want to go in the Navy because he didn't want to be on a boat. But you don't accrue all those medals being a chicken. He wanted his feet firmly on the ground, and being that rugged, grounded man, AKA the Beast, that was his calling. So after his training, he was sent overseas. He also, like my uncle, went over in October of 1944, and he was honorably discharged in February of 1947. All his medals are listed in your program. A lot of heroism. There was a time where there were 6 stretchers. They went to rescue some of the troops, but they were pinned down by the enemy. And my dad single-handedly put himself in harm's way. There was no cover. And he took out all the Japanese that were there. There were 12, but without first getting wounded, shrapnel in his groin and his legs. My dad had multiple hospitalizations, multiple surgeries, and he came home very warmly welcomed. My neighbor still remembers him coming off the train, and just that warm welcome. He went to the State House with my grandmother when he received the Navy Cross from Senator John O. Pastore, who later became a very good personal friend. So my father came back very highly decorated. He went back to the post office, and when he married my mom. Oh, so how he met my mother was that a very dear friend of my dad's, Albert Moradian, was a Marine. He died in my dad's arms in Okinawa, and he had asked my dad, could you please go to Detroit and tell my mother that I love her? So my dad got back to Providence. He, my grandmother, and my uncle, Corporal, took a train to Detroit, but they stopped in Massena. So my mom chose not to go back to school after her brother died. She wanted to stay and help my grandparents, support them, and help in the store. Meanwhile, this photo was taken of my dad. My grandfather saw it. He looked inside. He saw Harry Kazarian from Providence, recognized the name. He knew my grandparents from Govdon. Ripped out the picture, hung it on the wall. People would say, John, who's that? That's the man that Hazel's going to marry. So Hazel chose not to go back to school, to stay and again support her parents, help in the store. And sure enough, here comes this dashing hero, wartime hero with his family, stopping off in Massena to visit friends on their way to Detroit. They meet. I don't know if it was definitely love at first sight. My mom said it took a little while to warm up to him. But they would write letters daily. At that time, people wrote letters, like I still do. And there was mail delivery twice a day. So if a letter came in the morning, she wrote a letter and it went out that afternoon. My father proposed to her on November 10th, the Marine Corps birthday. An easy day to remember, right? So at the age, so now we're going to fast forward. So my parents are married, and then in 1961, at the age of 35, then President John F. Kennedy confirmed the nomination for my dad to be the postmaster of the first automated post office in the world. The turnkey post office, the first automated post office in the world, 35 years old. He loved it. He served proudly for 25 years, and then after he was out of the post office, he did some other jobs as consultant and helped in a messaging company, but his love and his passion was always the post office. Over the years, my father was recognized with 3 honorary doctorates. In 1982, Providence College honored him. Roger Williams University honored him in 1983. And then in 2002, with mixed emotions, I accepted the honorary doctorate for him from Rhode Island College. He wasn't able to attend because of his health status. And then in 1994, the grounds of the Providence Post Office was named Harry Kazarian Plaza. And then in 1996, the house that Harry built was named the Providence Post Office. And then in 2001, the former Camden Avenue Elementary School, which was in eyeshot of the house that he grew up in, that we all grew up in, was renamed the Harry Kizirian Elementary School. His legacy lives on. People hear the name. People remember wonderful stories of his generosity and wanting to help people. So my father was able to come home and live a full life that my uncle was not able to. However, my father did pay for it. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You can't go through what he went through and not have effects of it. We know more now about the effects of war and the support that the veterans and their families need. So it's really a story of divine intervention, personal choices, 2 incredible lives merging, and then the result of our beautiful family. So on behalf of my family, again, I want to thank you for this incredible opportunity to not only talk about my dad, but to talk about my uncle, because my uncle never had the chance to be recognized, to have a eulogy, to have a funeral. So I thank you for letting me tell the story. And in closing, I would like to share a quote from Corporal Harry Kazarian from 1994, when he said, "Listen to me, young people. War is awful. There is no way to describe it. Nobody wins. And do not believe the historians that there are no winners." Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you, Shake. It's a very moving story, and all I can say to that is thank for the pride you have brought your family to our community and to Armenian nation. Thank you very much. At this moment, before we turn over for the services, religious services, I would like to thank every individual that has participated by being present here. Also, all those individuals who have volunteered. Now I will turn over, and I will also thank the clergy for being here. I'm sorry not all the names that are helping us today with the requiem were posted on the program. We appreciate the additions and the clergy that we have had besides of whatever is on the program. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Amen. Glory, Gose totium schnoria non cercelot Rotara itor jamkas Kade zon anarat Zerot zelzel Alleluia, alleluia Ichros gadats yarkes de lutanimum Egititan sarvotitimos Alleluia Yemenopiko Yegulazo Jampavaro
Sırfa vidaranisi Iisus Hristosi Borisovani
Amdes de rasvatme Roskume sasvat
Dermer Iisus Hristos Asem Amin amin asemse Yete boçadın sornanga yetir meranisi İnkun mianga Aba yete meranisi Pazimakun sarne Borsire zasnjurat sagezna Jeboradjacna snura šarisasni Idjansın abdena dan spasesna Yete botsistaşki seznine getse Jeburjasnem Antepaşkun yani merici Yete botsistaşkice Padveces nahari
Unless you a grain of wheat falls on the earth and dies, it remains a single grain. But it dies, it bears much fruit. Those who love their lives lose it, and those who hate their life in this world will keep it for eternal life. Whoever serves me must follow me, and where I am, there I will, my servants will be also. Whoever serves me, the Father will honor me.
Vasan hankuchal hopwatsan archechut pargismerkistos zinos and tatas and tases says mesgetut se storivo muchaniro. Amenagal deras fats merketsoya vormia.
Dervormia, dervormia, dervormia. O Christ, Son of God, forbearing and compassionate, have compassion in your love as our Creator upon the souls of your servants who are at rest, especially upon the souls of those who have served the United States of America and the armed forces, soldiers, Marines, sailors, and airmen, for whom we are offering these prayers. Be mindful of them in the great day of the coming of your kingdom. Make them worthy of mercy of expiation and forgiveness of sins. Glorify them and count them with the company of your saints at your right hand. For you are the Lord and Creator of all, Judge of both the living and of the dead, and to you is befitting glory, dominion, and honor, both now and always, and unto the ages of ages. Amen.
Dervormia, Christos vortiastuzo anupagalye parekut, Katako arechagan siro v'dihoki sankisial zarais kos, Isha havur mezi kavustian artayutyan ko, Ara ajani vor mutyan kavutyan yevtovutyan melatz, Tasaboria bayzaratso unsutkusko hachavumyan tasun, Zitu ez der yev araricha menetsun, Kadavor yentan yats yev merelots, Yevkez vayele pat ishvanutun yev vadi, Ajin yev nich yev havidyanas havidenitz. Amen.
Ortnjal dhe mer Isus Hristos. Amen.
Amen. Ojegises, sorgelici anunco, Jegetse arcaiunco, Gelici ganco, Vorbes erginas Sas me anabazon turmes aisol, Tomesas vardis men forbes yemek, Dohut merots vardabanats, Yemi danires mezi portuntium.
Arkaçunep zotunep par, Havidyan sabdenitz. Amen. Our
Father, who art in heaven,
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Thank you very much for being here. This is the conclusion. However, we are going to keep the flags where they are presently, and we'd like to see if everybody wants to gather under the flags so we can have a photo picture. Then we'll retire the colors. Thank you.